I'm saying we need a new movement. That movement has to be
economic
economically.
civil rights.
That's right. It's got to be.
We got to march now for
For
jobs.
not for jobs, for businesses. Okay, we've got to own those businesses. We've got to
I like
employ.
that.
Okay,
I like that.
we have to cease being dependent upon somebody else to feed our families. We have to feed our families. It's the only way it's going to get done. We have to say, hey, it can be done. And we're not where we used to be. We have the intellectual capacity to do it. We have the ability to do it. We're no longer illiterates.
So what has happened in the African American community? What has divided us? We are disenfranchised.
Integration. I hate to say that,
Oh.
because that was a major...
Tell me a little bit more about that.
We needed it, right? See, I can remember when, well, I'll give you an example. In Texas, when I was in Wichita Falls, Texas, going to A&E school, if I wanted to go to a restaurant, it was in the black community. If I wanted to buy something, I bought it from a black vendor or a black, entrepreneur. We said, at the time that we won all the things that we've won, we gave up something. We gave up our economic independence. Because what happened is that we won, we no longer had the segregated society, but suddenly the boys who controlled the economics in our country said, that's not bad. We just picked up another $2 or $3 million. We just take over all those businesses, and we just, we just integrate that into our community. Well, it was necessary, and we felt it was necessary in the civil rights movement, but what we didn't do is we didn't prepare for what was going to happen when we lost that base. And we lost that base. It was taken. If it wasn't taken, it was bought. And we lost everything. We lost, when I was in Texas, if I wanted to buy something, I go to the community, I can do it. Even up north, it was that way. The ghettos in New York and in Chicago, we had our industries and our businesses in there. We had business people in there dealing continuously. I didn't have to, and there was also entrepreneurs in there. I can think of some of the older families, black families who had money and who would say, oh yeah, you want to invest in this? Fine. I remember my grandfather, he had his own business, and what he did is he was a rubbish man, right? But he bought houses all over Pittsburgh and rented them out. The older blacks in our country understood economics. They knew what happened. They would buy land. They would buy,
They knew it made a difference.
That's right. We lost all that. Now we're looking at, we have a major star or person who is classified as a star in the entertainment world. And the best thing he wants to do is buy a house up on the hill. Well, that's nice to buy the house on the hill, but we're finding out too. See, in this country, we don't control the drugs that come into our community. They're controlled from outside, because we don't know or can't buy those drugs where they're manufactured and where they're processed. So what happens is that we are fed with drugs. We are told, that you can't do this and you can't do that. And sorry, you want to open a business? We don't know where you're going to go because we're not going to need the money because you don't qualify. What we've got to do is we have to look inward. We have to do nation building from within. And when you do nation building within, then you control your destiny. You control the economics in your community. You participate in the general society as an equal. and not as someone with his hand out.
So you believe that integration created that problem for us?
It created the problem, but it only created the problem because we forgot from which we came. See, the big problem is that I want a house on the hill instead of investing in my community. Now, there's some people who invest in community, but you know, when someone says I have to go to Africa to fix black folks, you know, we got to do is look in Detroit, you know.
So Wallace, what do you think happened with affluent African Americans, the one that got a college education and moved out of the neighborhood? What was the motivation behind that?
The motivation was to find to deal in terms of equality, and that's a necessity. I'm not saying that that we shouldn't be
desiring that, or
right.
want to have
I'm saying that Obama is necessary.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and we don't want to say, well, Obama, you should be. We want you to go to Detroit, and we want you to be president of Detroit
Exactly.
borough. No, what we need to do is do nation building within, while at the same time understanding that we got to keep the door open, you know, because we are Americans, and only by keeping that door open, it flowing out and in. See, my thing is that my factory, I'll employ white folks. You know, I won't discriminate.
Equal opportunity.
I won't discriminate. But it means that what we have to do is we have to recognize the importance of an economic base. And that base has to be built from within, not from without. We have to recognize those blacks who have money must say, hey, let's rebuild the ghetto. Let's rebuild it. And when we finally make that decision, we'll find that it's very profitable. And we also find that in America, we won't be having some of the fights, and Obama wouldn't be having the fights that he's having now. We have to be able to support ourselves while at the same time participating in making America what we want it to be. And that's what King was all about.